A new CBS News poll shows Democratic Senator Mark Kelly is leading in the Arizona Senate race.
The release of the latest poll numbers comes roughly 5 weeks before midterm elections. 51% of likely voters are backing the Democratic incumbent. That's 3 points more than those supporting Trump-endorsed Republican challenger Blake Masters.
Joining us now is CBS News Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. We've got the big screen right next to you, so we're going to dig through all the data here. What are the underlying issues that help explain the kind of balance of support that we see shifting in Arizona right now?
Well, that is the key question, and one of them is the candidates themselves, but look at the different motivations for each of their supporters, because it tells you a story. Look, half of Kelly's voters say they're mainly voting because they like him, not so much to oppose the other candidate, not so much as a default, just because he's a Democrat. But look at that contrast with Blake Masters, the Republicans' voters. They're more likely to say they're voting for him to oppose the other guy. What does that do to a dynamic, right? And then there's another third, well, just because of the party's nominee. Part of what this tells you is something we're seeing in all these states, which is the nationalization of this race, particularly on the Republican side. Yes, there are candidate issues and candidate qualities, but they want that Senate seat. And that's what they're telling you in here. And that's a somewhat different dynamic.
That's so interesting because
we always see.
It's contrary to the conventional wisdom that all politics are ultimately local, because in this case,
yeah, that old maxim has kind of gone out the window. I mean, look at this number. And we, in polling history, folks always ask the question, who do you want to have a beer with? Who do you like, right? That likability factor. Well, look at the differences here on how the candidates are seen generally handling themselves. Mark Kelly gets the highest. The gubernatorial candidates here, Katie Hobbs, Kari are behind that. And then Blake Masters, who we just talked about, ranks far lower, right? Just on this, you might think, well, on candidate qualities,
it should be a runaway win for Kelly based off of this, but only 3 points separate.
Right, nationalized election. That's part of it.
Well, there's also a gubernatorial race that's happening in Arizona that's important. Tell us, how's that going?
Well, this one is tied. The gubernatorial race is tied between Hobbs and Lake here. There's a little bit less crossover voting from Republicans that you see as opposed to the Senate race.
Help out our viewers. Mark Kelly, Democrat, et cetera.
Yeah, Mark Kelly's the Democrat. This is the Senate race, and this is when we talk about control of the Senate. This is the one to watch. This is one of the key states. When we talk about the gubernatorial race between Lake and Hobbs, one of the reasons people are looking into that.
And again, tell us the Republican and Democratic division.
Because Kari Lake's the Republican.
Because I know you are seeped in it and we all nerd out on it, but it's important for our viewers who maybe don't live in Arizona to understand who's playing where.
And I'm glad you raised that. Kari Lake's the Republican, Katie Hobbs is the Democrat. The race is tied. So that's your baseline.
Right.
The other part of this is people are watching this state, the governor's race, and you're right. People elsewhere are saying, why am I watching the governor's race in Arizona? Because in some states, there are folks running, particularly on the Republican side, who are what folks have labeled election deniers. They question what they call the big lie, the idea that Joe Biden did win legitimately. Now, that's important because in these battleground states, what happens going forward if there are executives in place, whether it's a governor, whether it's a secretary of state, that goes in not
making
trusting
decisions
the
about elections,
institution, not willing to accept the results if the other party wins, as is some of the rhetoric that came out of this campaign.
And your polling seems to suggest then that, considering that it's a neck and neck between Lake and her Democratic opponent in Arizona, that's not a disqualifying feature for many of these Republicans running in otherwise swing states.
For Republicans, it may even be motivating, right? But for others, it's a distraction for more independent voters because they want candidates talking about the economy. And they tell us that. They want candidates talking about other issues, immigration, crime. But by contrast, when they hear candidates talking about 2020, Republicans like to hear that. But everybody else tells us they're more likely to think of that candidate as extreme. They're more likely to think that candidate isn't talking about the issues that they care about. And I'll show you this chart, which kind of illustrates it, right? What do you want elections officials in Arizona to say or do? Well, for Democrats, that Biden won in 2020. For independents, there are a sizable, to your point, number that say, look, it doesn't matter. But part of what's baked into that is this idea of talk about something else. Move past it, right? But then there's Republicans, many of whom also say it doesn't matter, But that reflects a divide in the party because then there's this ratio of Republicans who are more likely, for whom it does matter, more likely to say they want somebody who says Biden did not win in 2020 than that Biden did win. So this is that ratio break for the Republicans who do care about it that's driving a lot of these candidates.
What an interesting through the looking glass when
Yeah,
you look at
it's really
Democrats and
incredible.
independents versus Republicans.
And you can
on
head to
that.
cbsnews.com and see more of this and dive into it. There are articles there and more of Anthony's analysis. Mr. Salvanto, great to see you. Thank you very much
Talk to you
for
guys.
being with
Thanks.
us today.